Welcome back. Redfin just announced that this year we're on pace with the lowest number of home sales since 2008. That would be a 15-year low, by the way, regarding home sales this year, as daily rates or daily mortgage rates surpassed 8% for the first time since August of 2000 this week here. Redfin notes here that their economist is saying that we're likely to see the slowest sales pace since the Great Recession, as we're seeing persistently high rates and low inventory, which of course is spooking home buyers. It says here this year is likely to end at roughly 4.1 million existing home sales. I've been telling you guys for months now because my personal predictions is around 4 million. So right on par with Zillow at 4.1 and also Redfin at 4.1 as well. But if we get to only 4.1 million home sales this year, that would be the fewest amount since the bubble burst in 2008. And also at 4.1 million, that'd be about 18% fewer compared to 2022. And also well below the levels we saw in 2020 and 2021. According to Redfin's economic research lead, she says buyers have been in a bind all year. They talk about how we have high rates and high home prices, which of course is making it very challenging for home buyers right now. She also says that mortgage rates are staying higher for longer than what was previously expected, keeping away everyone except for those who need to move and pushing their sales projections down to a 15-year low at 4.1 million. The last time home sales were this low, of course, was it during the Great Recession here. What the numbers say, and I've also been talking about this on the channel for quite some time, because again, the average daily rate, according to the Mortgage News Daily, as of yesterday, which was Thursday, and also on Wednesday, rates surpassed 8% for the first time since August of 2000. So of course, rising rates are pushing buyers to the sidelines and also making applications for home loans falling to the lowest level since 1995, according to the MBA. Also, according to Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index, that's an index which measures the amount of requests for home tours by Redfin agents and other home buying services. That fell to the lowest level in about a year. Meanwhile, the amount of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers or pending home sales nationwide fell 8% year over year during the 4 weeks ended October 15th. They also recommend that home buyers who are frustrated by low inventory levels and high housing costs may consider new home construction. So in my experience as a real estate agent here in Sacramento, along with my team here, we have 3 clients right now who are buying a brand new house in which the builder is building a house right now. They're set to close in November and December this year. And 2 of those clients have rates at 5.5%. Again, the daily rate today is around 8%. So they're getting a brand new house for a rate far below current rates we're having right now. And a lot of home builders are offering these incentives to home buyers in order to increase sales. And of course, one of those incentives is buying down your rate in order to get to a more affordable housing payment. I'm just mentioning that because they do mention this as well, because if you guys are still looking to buy a house, you may want to consider buying a brand new house. And of course, if you do that, I would highly recommend you guys link up with a real estate agent in your area you want to buy, because there's really no downside in hiring an agent, because the home builder is not going to say, oh, you don't have an agent, let me give you a better deal. Home builders have been working with agents for quite some time for the most part. And therefore, in my personal opinion, a lot of home builders don't want to burn that relationship with agents nationwide here. In any case, let's move on here. Let's talk about home prices here. So for the 4 weeks ended October 15th, the median sold price nationwide was at $369,000. It has been hovering around $370,000 for quite some time. I would say over the last several weeks here, we're seeing the price at around $370,000. That's up by 2.5% compared to 1 year ago. Again, part of the reason why prices are up compared to last year is because prices fell greatly in July and August last year. Compared to this year, we didn't see that sharp decrease in prices. And therefore, that's one of the reasons why we're up compared to 1 year ago. Also, by the way, if my editor can show this right here, there's an ad for KB Homes. New homes are coming soon to the Sacramento area. So speaking of that, of course, there's a huge pullback in demand for existing houses, but also for brand new home construction. Back in 2020 through the first half of 2022, home builders really didn't have to advertise very much as well because they had, long waiting lists for people waiting to buy their houses. Now they have to place ads on Redfin in order to drive home sales. Anyways, thought that was kind of funny. Let's also talk about how each of the 50 most populous areas fared as well, because of course, there's some very big differences regarding home price changes here. So the biggest increases in the median sold price for the 50 most populous US metros, the biggest increase was actually in Anaheim, California, a giant increase of 17.4%. After that was West Palm Beach, Florida, New Brunswick, New Jersey, San Jose, California, and Newark, New Jersey. So out of these top 5 markets here, every single one of those is up by more than 10%. I would say about a month or two ago, there wasn't any single city in which they were up by more than 10%. So every city was up, or every city that experienced a gain compared to 1 year ago was up by less than 10%. Whereas right now, we're seeing the top 5 over 10% here. In contrast, the metros that decreased the most was Austin, Texas. Yet again, they have been in the number 1 spot for quite some time, down 4.1% year over year. Then we had San Antonio, Texas, Houston, Texas, New York, and then Jacksonville, Florida. Redfin also noticed here that home sold prices decreased in 9 metros. So 9 of the 50 are down compared to 1 year ago, which of course means that 41 are up compared to 12 months ago. Also, out of these 9 metros, 4 of those only experienced a decrease smaller than 1%. Now, this is quite the turnaround as well, because about 2 months ago, the number of metros that was down year over year was about 20. Now it's only 9. Again, that's because prices decreased at a much faster pace at this time last year compared to this year. Let's also talk about housing affordability, because of course prices are not tanking like they did last year. And of course, rates have been absolutely spiking this week here. And because of that, your average monthly housing payment, this is based on the weekly rate 1 week ago, according to Freddie Mac, was at 7.57%. They actually just announced, I think it was yesterday, that rates increased again though. So anyways, at 7.57%, your median mortgage payment, that's based on the median asking price house nationwide, and also based on a 7.57% rate. Your housing payment on average would be $2,730 per month. That's only $8 shy of the all-time record high that was set 2 weeks ago. So one thing to keep in mind here, 7.57% is much lower than today's rates, and also lower compared to the announcement yesterday, which was October 19th from Freddie Mac, because they reported yesterday that the average 30-year fix for people with great credit was 7.63%. According to their chief economist, he says mortgage rates continue to approach 8% this week, further impacting housing affordability. So keep in mind though, daily rates have been much higher compared to this 7.63% rate. I believe they sent out this survey to lenders on Monday or Tuesday and get responses on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So because rates increased greatly in the middle this week and also toward the end this week, that's why daily rates are much higher compared to the rates quoted on Freddie Mac's website. Also on Investopedia.com, as of October 20th, the average 30-year fix, 8.41%. Absolutely insane. Something to keep in mind though, that Investopedia.com tends to quote a higher rate compared to Freddie Mac as well as the Mortgage News Daily, because they're looking at a FICO score in the range of 700 to 760. To keep in mind here, a FICO score over 740 typically gets you the best rate. So they're including FICO scores below that, and therefore the average rates on Investopedia.com tend to be a little bit higher compared to other websites. So speaking of that, according to the Mortgage News Daily, The average rate decreased 6 basis points on Friday to 7.97%. Jumbo is still over 8% though, and FHA and VA loans is around 7.4 to 7.44%. Also, 1 year ago, average rate was at 7.37%. That's an increase of 60 basis points compared to 12 months ago. Something to keep in mind as well is that at about 8% right now, 1 month ago, which is right here, the daily rate was at 7.33%. So therefore, rates have increased by about 70 basis points or 0.7 percentage points over the past 1 month alone. And this really should impact home buying demand, especially regarding the number of contracts being signed in October, especially in late October because of the spike in rates. And of course, keep in mind, rates in October really impact closed home sales in November and December. And because of seasonality, coupled with the fact we have 8% rates right now, this really should impact closed home sales in the next coming months. So I'll stand by my prediction of around 4 million existing home sales in 2023. Let's also look at a chart regarding this average payment and also home prices here. Because on a national level, again, we're at about 369,000, up 2.5%. A small increase compared to last week, which is a little bit normal because during this time of year, we see a slowdown in our housing market, especially in August and September, as kids go back to school. And of course, parents, of course, put their housing market goals on hold. And therefore, they tend to ramp up once again in September and October. And therefore, it's kind of a little normal to see an increase in prices during this time of year. But after that, especially around Thanksgiving and also, of course, around December through January, we should see a decrease in prices, which would be entirely normal. The big question, of course, how low will it get, though, of course, because it all depends on the balance between supply and demand, and especially regarding rates in general. In regards to the average monthly housing payment, again, just shy of the all-time record high that was set about 2 weeks ago. Your housing payment at $2,730. Back in 2020, for example, it was around $1,500 per month. Now it's at $1,200 more per month to buy a median price home today compared to the same time frame in 2020. Let's also discuss the number of pending home sales, new listings, as well as housing inventory. Some very big changes here. So pending home sales decreased by 8.4% year over year. That's the smallest decrease since May of 2022. Obviously, just like home sold prices, pending home sales fell greatly in August through October last year. And because of that, that's one of the reasons why we're only seeing a small increase or the smallest decrease since May of 2022, because pendings fell much faster at this time last year compared to what we're seeing over the past month or so here. In regards to the 50 most populous metros, regarding the measure of contracts being signed, it actually increased the most in Orlando, Florida, a gain of 9.7%. After that was West Palm Beach, Florida, Las Vegas, Jacksonville, Florida, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The biggest declines was in Portland, Oregon, down by 25.2%. After that was Sacramento, California, where I live and work as a real estate agent here with my team here, down by 21%. After that was Houston, Texas, Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Newark, New Jersey. It's also worth noting here that pending home sales decreased in every single one of those 50 metros except for 9 of them. For the number of new listings, this is a measure of the amount of people listing their houses for sale. That increased the most in Orlando, Florida, a gain of 19.9% year over year. After that was Miami, West Palm Beach, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Jacksonville, Florida as well. That's interesting to see here that out of the top 5 markets, every single one of those is located in Florida. A big increase in the number of new listings compared to 12 months ago. In contrast, the biggest declines was in Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Nassau County, New York, I don't know how to pronounce that, and also Portland, Oregon, and Columbus, Ohio. Also, for the nation as a whole, there was around 81,500 new listings, and that's down 1.9% from 12 months ago. And that actually is the smallest decrease since July of 2022. And again, just like pending home sales and home sold prices, new listings fell big time last year at this time. That's one of the reasons why we're only down by 1.9% this year. Also, this lack of new listings continues to be a big problem because active listings, or the amount of houses actually for sale or house inventory, is down by nearly 14% right now. Let's have a look at a chart regarding pending home sales. Then we'll have a look at new listings and then active listings as well. So pending home sales has been decreasing and has been below 2021, and which is in blue here, and also in 2022 all year here. And also we're down by 8.4% year over year right now. In regards to the number of new listings, this is pretty unusual here because remember I said that new listings were falling big time last year. This year, relatively flat ever since really the beginning of September this year. Also have a look at this because here is active listings, which has been on an upward trend ever since really May this year. We should expect this to peak sometime this month, I would imagine. It'd be entirely abnormal, to say the least, if inventory were still to rise in November. It is a very, very small increase, but it's still increasing, which is highly unusual. So for example, in 2022, inventory peaked in August. 2021, it peaked in late August, early September, whereas this year it's still increasing, but not increasing at the same rate we saw in 2022 during the summer months. And I should mention, this is one reason why home prices are not falling at the same rate last year, because inventory levels are more or less flat compared to the start of this year, versus last year this time, there was around 950,000 houses for sale. Compared to the start of the year, there's only 650,000, a giant increase of around 300,000 more homes for sale versus flat this year at around 800,000 homes for sale. So therefore, this is one of the reasons why home prices are not decreasing very much this year, due to historically low inventory levels, but also because inventory has not increased very much this year at all. Additionally, here's a look at the month supply, because the month supply right now, according to Redfin, is at 3.4 months, a sharp increase compared to the past couple weeks here. And this is because the amount of home sales is lagging, and therefore the month supply is actually increasing here. In regards to days in the market, days in the market is at 32 days. That's a time frame when a homeowner lists their house for sale until they accept an offer from a home buyer. So the median days in the market is at 32 days right now, a little bit faster compared to this time last year, when days in the market was about 34 days. Redfin also reported that only 30% of houses that sold over the previous 4 weeks sold above the seller's final list price. So this means, of course, that 70% sold at or below the seller's final list price. A little bit higher compared to last year this time, but well below 2021 when the share was over 40%. And lastly, let's have a look at the average sale price to final list price ratio, because that ratio is at 99.2%. This means that for the house that sold over the previous 4 weeks, the home seller sold their house for about 0.8% less than their final list price. A little bit higher compared to last year this time, but much lower compared to 2021, when then houses on average sold for 0.5% over the seller's final list price. So please comment below your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And of course, I greatly appreciate you as well. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.